Hi there, fight fans. My name is Kian Lang, and I'm very happy to say that I'm today joined by the Octagon double champ, Mr. Will Fleury. Given the run that you had in the past year with four fights in that time and such intense fights, I mean, especially your last two, they've been absolute wars against Vamola and Todev. Has it almost been, obviously you don't want to get injured, but it's almost been good for your body to kind of take that time to have a rest finally?
Definitely after the Tata fight, yeah. Never been that bollocks after a fight, to be honest. Even the night of, I went out and I had a few beers, but I was just knackered. I couldn't wait to get to bed, and waking up the next day, I was in an awful way. So, I appreciated having a bit of a break, and it's obviously easier to take a break when you're double champ because people have to come through you to get anywhere. But that last 2 or 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh fuck, I'd love to be able to get back to training. So it's been a while now, that's nearly 3 months ago. And I'm itching to be back to full training and back to being chasing this thing. To me, it's all about what I can go and achieve next and what that next thing is. And, I look at the picture at the moment and, I look at the landscape of Oktagon and I'm like, right, there's a good chance here to be a triple champion. I think there's very, very few people in the world who can do that. And I know I want to be good. So I feel like it'd be a fucking, right now, that's where my brain is at. Like, I understand I'm going to have to defend the light heavyweight belt first. And there's certain hoops I'd have to jump through just to convince them to allow me to become a triple champ, if you get me. Because from their point of view, they don't want an Irish guy holding up three divisions when their main market's in Central Europe. But at the same time, I think if I can make them understand that there's very, very few people in the world that can do this, got this guy who's kind of special and can actually achieve this, go on, let him fucking do it. Um, that's the goal right now, and the thought of that is cool. The thought chasing that is my thing at the moment, and that's where my brain is at.
I mean, you mentioned that it's a chance to make history, really, especially the way that you're doing it. Not many people would go from light heavyweight to heavyweight and then all the way back down to middleweight. Is that a thought for you that you'd like maybe a light heavyweight fight first just to help the come down?
Yeah, I think I'd have to, So that is the plan, is defend the light heavyweight belt, maybe even twice, because we'll see how the whole thing plays out. But hopefully, if Oscar wins in Prague in 2 weeks, Popic's already won. Whichever of them guys wants it, I know the market is Germany now. They're both German lads. Popic hasn't really put his hand up. At least Oscar's actually calling my name and saying something, and he seems to actually be ambitious and want the shot at the title. But whoever they decide out of those two wants, we'll get it. Ram will go and smash that guy. And then hopefully Murdoch smashes Kinsel and then can unify the belt against Engazik. And then I think me and Murdoch will be a class fight to become triple champ. So please God, everything plays out that way. And look, there's a lot of variables there. So we'll just ride the waves as they come, you know what I mean? But ultimately, I feel like whoever the middleweight champ is, I can have a good, I've already beat the heavyweight champ. You're kind of the boss champ already, if you know what I mean. Obviously, coming down to middleweight is going to be its own challenge. Guys are going to be a little bit faster. Guys are going to be probably slightly better as a skill set. And I see it's one of the strongest divisions in the promotion, middleweight, especially now at the moment because we're in the game changer tournament. But I've been a middleweight for most of my career, and it's fucking damn good one. I'm kind of also become light heavyweight and heavyweight champ since. So I think introducing me to that division would be very, very fucking interesting. So yeah, I'm it's exciting times, and I'm kind of chasing that whole thing. So.
And when you think about, I mean, the last 12 months that you've had coming in, you had two great finishes. And then, like I said, your last two fights have been two of the best in Octagon history. Is it hard to believe for you sometimes that the run you've been on, becoming two-weight champ, having all these dreams accomplished, man? It's incredible.
Yeah, it is. It is it's class. But the funny thing is, and I don't mean to sound dismissive or ungrateful for this whole opportunity, because I really, really fucking appreciate it, because I've been waiting around long enough to get this chance. But I suppose I always felt like I was doing what it took to be this guy, and I needed the opportunity. And it's incredible to have finally got the opportunity. But now it's you got to make the absolute best of this. If you don't go and keep achieving what you know you can, you're going to be disappointed at the end of all of this. So as much as look, beating Carlos in Prague, that was an unbelievable night. The energy, the fans there, it was class. Getting boots up, I genuinely really enjoyed all that. And then becoming the double champ in the cage, having the two belts, and your parents coming in and hugging you, like that whole thing is mad, you know. But it's like, okay, cool, that's done. What else can you do? That's in the past now. I don't want to just have that. I know that there's so much more possible. So as much as I do appreciate all of that, that's class and it's an amazing thing to have happened in your life. It's now about going and accomplishing the next thing. And even like, I suppose, I still feel like there's, you know, it's kind of like, yeah, but you weren't in the UFC. It's like, nah, mate, I'm going to show you that I'm fucking class. That like, I want there to be a legit argument as in like, could this lad have beat the best guys in the UFC if they let him in? You know, and I still don't feel like I'm at that stage in my career, if you know what I mean. And not even up like for me to prove that to everyone else. In a way, it's for me to go show myself that, you know, here, hey, you know, you could have been one of the fucking, like, if you got the opportunity, you could have beaten the best guys out there. And if I continue to absolutely smash lads at this level, like, I suppose it's just about making the best of the window you have. And I'm very, very determined to do that.
Well, I think your past couple of fights have definitely proved that for me. I mean, the Todd fight especially, it felt like you've been able to show your full game as a mixed martial artist. I mean, the striking's been on show. Your grappling is obviously talked about enough, taking a guy down who's never been taken down. And also that heart that you've shown has just been incredible, man. Is that one of the most pleasing things for you to be able to show that full range of skill that you've got?
Yeah, and thanks, really, and appreciate that. But like, there's things I look at in that fight. I was like, I could have done that a lot better. Even like some of the movement was lovely, but there was times there I wasted chances. And I created opportunities I didn't fully exploit. But yeah, like I was glad to be able to show that heart, that desire, and you know, in that fifth round, that definitely was hanging on. But like, in a way, I'd like to do it a bit cleaner. You know, if you have to show that, fucked up somewhere else. You know. So next time, just go in and smash, and you're the guy smashing the whole way through that fight. If you've got that tactically correct, you should never have to show that much heart. But look, at least I've shown it's there if I need it, and like I suppose that's part of the game in a way. That if you're called on, be that guy, you can go and be that guy. And yeah, it was like fair fucks a ton of people at that out of me. You know, and I think that guy's really underrated as a fighter. I actually think he's the toughest challenge out of everybody out there still. And even like I know me going down to middleweight seems like I'm running away from that guy. I think that lad, like that fight, he definitely deserves a rematch. You know what I mean? And I hope that someday, like, look, if I go and defend light heavyweight or down to middleweight, I think I have until March 8th to win the belt because it's once a year you have to defend it or whatever. Probably I won't be able to get back up to heavyweight by then. But long term, I would love to do that fight again. And, you know, I haven't really come out and said that to him directly, but like, I think he deserves that chance again. But give me a minute, you know? But yeah, like, he fought very well too, you know, and he didn't break because there's a couple of times where like I was really laying it on him and I thought, you're not going to be back the same way. And he wasn't, just stay calm and he's very stoic, you know, very, didn't take any of them shots with too much. Like, and I know I really cracked him a few times. Look, grand. And that's disheartening when you're the other guy. Like, so fair play to him.
Yeah, it was an incredible fight. I mean, the chin on Todev and Vermola in the one before was just, that was even, that was like a different level. He was like a Terminator, that fight. Looking ahead at the moment, it feels like Irish MMA has never been better. Obviously, in the past, it's always sort of been Conor McGregor. When someone mentions Irish MMA, it's just Conor McGregor. Whereas now you look across the promotions, what Paul Hughes is doing, what Ian Gary's doing, what yourself and the likes of Dennis Frimpong, Shem are doing. How proud are you of the current generation and being a big part of that?
I think it's great that the level of talent is finally getting shown. Because about 10 years ago, we had a massive, maybe in a way the talent wasn't quite there. And I feel like it's the opposite now, where there's a lot of talent in this country and the mainstream support isn't quite there. So at least it's starting to go, and that's been away for a while. You know, I'm like, look, I'm one of the older guys now. There's a lot of guys coming up behind me who are so fucking good. And even like, there's 18, 19-year-olds in the gym with a better skill set, who have a better skill set now than I had when I was 27, 28. And I'm looking at where these guys are going to go and how, you know, the possibility of them get big fights. It's just like they need support. So I'm glad to see that that's kind of coming to fruition a bit, but it needs to continue. And even like, look, this isn't, your MMA media, obviously, fair play to you, but like, we need a little bit of mainstream support. Because I see over in the Czech Republic, in Germany, they have that, and Oktagon have done a really good job of cultivating that. They're doing a very good job of making themselves mainstream, hacking into the mainstream media there. And it's become acceptable. It's become part of like, oh, of course, yeah. I think maybe partially because of Connor and because of some of the stuff that happened around that, there's sort of a negative vibe to the whole thing in Ireland. And I would look at Paul Hughes, look what he's gone and done. It's class. And like, even, Paddy McCrory there at the weekend, and he beat the guy and raised the Palestinian flag. It's beautiful, and then like, we have a lot of really good lads coming out of the gym at the moment, like the likes of Ned Kelly, Derek Kelly, so many other guys that I'm going to forget names, but like, there's a lot of talent in the country, and there's a lot of great young lads here who like deserve a level of support. And like, I just hope they get it, and I hope they get the opportunities they deserve, because the level is there now, and I think people will hopefully see that in time. So it's a different thing. Like, I think 10 years ago we had a massive wave of support. Now we need that wave because the talent is there,
And do you think a big thing that can help that is getting these cards in the likes of Dublin, in Ireland? I mean, you said it in the past, we need an Oktagon card in Ireland, don't we?
We feel a sense of duty to bring it back, because I look at what Paul Hughes did in Belfast. It was class. It was genuinely inspiring to see that. Yeah, it was, and like, he's gone and beat AJ McKee, and, in my eyes, beat Usman Nurmagomedov. Like, that's the level you have to go to make something happen. I feel like, I hope I get that chance to go and show that like there's other guys at that level, and if they come to Ireland, you can stack the cards with guys who are at a very, very good level too, and to create that bit of a buzz and a bit of a wave about it. It's on me to convince Octagon to do that. They're looking at the market and they're saying, "Oh, that's still only sold 3,000 or 4,000 tickets, and the tickets weren't anywhere near what you can sell in Germany price wise." Right, I understand that it's business at the end of the day, but ultimately we are a weird culture where like, once we kind of wave of things going and there's a bit of a bandwagon of support behind things, the culture really buys in. Irish people really do get behind them. If they are, once get them going, they're some of the best fans in the world. So it's creating that. It's just a spark. And I feel like with Paul Hughes, there's been a bit of a spark there. And now it's about like some of the mainstream media in Ireland getting behind that a little bit, enough to make the average fellow aware of what's going on. And then something beautiful could happen. And I feel like, look, I'm at the level where I can make something very inspiring happen. Like you're saying, you watch them fights, you're like, shit, yeah, they're really good fights. I can do that, So there's a genuine, real possibility of that happening. And I just really fucking hope that it does. And I'm going to do what I can to make it happen.
Oh man, I can't hope anymore as well. I mean, like we say, the last two fights, the thought of them being in Ireland would be, I can't even imagine what the atmospheres would have been like. And I think it needs to happen at some point in the near future, man. I can't thank you enough for your time today. It's been a real pleasure to speak to you. I think you're one of the true fighters that we've got in this generation at the moment. So it's been a real pleasure, man. Thank you.
Thanks for the people. I appreciate it.